All right, hello everyone. Amanda here, back to you today with a brand new video. So today's video I'm really excited about because about a week or two ago, my Archer and Olive Blackout book finally arrived. And I am excited to get in here and create in this thing. So if you're unfamiliar with what the Archer and Olive Blackout book is, it is a regular A5 dot grid notebook with the exception of the fact that inside, there are black pages with the dot grid on it. It is the same 160 GSM paper as her regular dot grid notebooks, but all of them are black. Now, this one happens to come with the gilded edges. I don't usually do that with my normal books because I like to use gelatos around the edges a lot of the time, but I'm not going to be doing that in this Blackout book, so the gilded edges actually happen to work out perfectly, and check out the silver shimmer there. So awesome. Now, before I get in and start creating new spreads and things like that, and just new things altogether in this book, we have to find out what writes on black paper. So I'm going to jump into the back of the book here, give myself a couple of pages here at the very, very end where I like to do my pen test, and we are going to figure that out today. If you can't tell from the title of the video, we're going to figure out what writes on black paper. Now, what I have done is I have checked out Michael's and Hobby Lobby, and I have purchased all the things. All the things that I think could write or say that they should write on black paper, and we're going to see how they work in here. All right, so there are a lot of tools that say that they write on dark papers, and we are going to check them all out one at a time. So without any further ado, and to make sure this video is not too terribly long, let's get started. So the first thing that I want to test are going to be jelly rolls. Just all the jelly rolls. How about all the jelly rolls? Now, I do know for a fact that the regular traditional jelly rolls, just the everyday colors, are not going to write on black paper. They're going to sink right in. But everything else should. So we're going to bust these bad boys open and start some pen tests, and we'll see what happens. First up, we have the plain jelly roll in the classic white. Now, the classic white has a 3-pack, and it comes in the 05, the 08, and the 10, and the only difference is the size of the nib. So we're just going to test one. How about the 05? Okay, jelly rolls, check. The top is not going to stay on this one, but check. So you want varying line weight. There you go. Jelly rolls are awesome. And let's move into the next set. We have got the metallic here, and there are two different little packs of metallic, so I'm going to swatch both of them. We have 10 colors total. I think there may be 12, but I've got 2 of the 5 packs, so let's see what the metallics look like on black paper. Okay, so there we have all 10 of the metallics. Those show up really nicely. Now, given you're going to have to get gel pens of any variety on any paper some time to dry, because every last one of these, except for the silver, is still wet. So before you turn a page with a gel pen, just make sure that it gets dry. But these wrote on top of it great. The blues are a little bit darker, but everything writes on top. So moving on. Next, we have the glaze, which give a 3D effect. So I'm wondering if these will write on top of black paper and show up. Let's find out. Okay, so they're trying to show up, but they're just not gonna. So that is the glaze. What do we have next? Next we have the Moonlight series. Woo! Look at how bright that yellow is. Pretty, pretty, pretty. All right, Moonlights, check. They're just gorgeous up against the black paper, so that is awesome. Next, we have Souffle. Stands out on dark surfaces. So let's see. Okay, so the souffles are kind of milky in texture and blendable. So when the colors blend or touch together when they're wet, they sort of blend together like paint, which is an interesting effect. I don't know if I'd care for the way that they write just for writing purposes, but we'll see what happens when they completely dry. So you can see this weird effect sort of forming around the edges and where we wrote blendy. So let's see what they look like. But they do, in fact, show up on dark surfaces. I'm just not 100% convinced about the texture of the ink. So let's see what happens. But they do write. All right, next we have Stardust. And there are 2 packs of these as well. These are both 6 packs. So let's try the Starbursts. Okay, so there we have the Starburst, and they do show up, but not great. So a couple show up better than others. Highlights and accents. Glittery accents is what these could be used for, but they do show up. So that is a plus. So they go in the yes pile. Almost forgot. We do have the Jelly Roll shadows, the gold shadows, but if I'm not mistaken, these sort of sink into the paper and then leave a little bit of a highlight. So let's try the shadows really quickly and see what they look like so that we can keep all of our jelly rolls together. Okay, so the colors themselves are nearly indistinguishable on camera. You can see a little bit of each color in the gold once it's dry, but outside of that, no, they're pretty much just gold, but they do show up on black paper. Let's try some other brands. We've got some Uniball Signos. I have got one here in white. I have got one here in silver. So let's try Uniball Signo. There's absolutely no reason why these shouldn't write. Nice and chunky line there. Silver. Gorgeous. So, perfect. Let's see. We have got some Faber-Castell Pit Artist pens in gold and silver. Now these are not brush tip markers, these are your actual bullet nibs, and they are the 1.5 millimeter nibs. So both of these work great. No bleed. Awesome. Sharpie paint pens, metallics. Let's try these. Okay, so we've got these all primed up and ready to go. Okay, Sharpie paint pens, check. And these are all water-based pens, and there is no bleed through on the back of the page, which is awesome. These write really, really well. I really like these really thin bullet nibs on them. Excellent. Yes, pal. Next up, let's do some pencils. So I have got a variety of pencils here. We've got some Faber-Castell and some Prismacolor and an Artist Loft pencil here. So let's see. Let's try the Artist Loft White. Artist Loft White works great. Let's see it up against a Prismacolor White. A little bit better. Faber-Castell Gold. The difference between these golds is one is a watercolor or water soluble pencil and the other is not. The lighter color is the water soluble pencil. We have got silver as well, one water soluble one and one not. Those show up nicely. And Prismacolor in silver. Awesome. Metallic color pencils, yes. And speaking of metallic color pencils, we have this 12 pack by Derwent, which is all metallic as well. So let's open this up. Okay, these Derwent pencils show up great. So those are really, really nice colors. I love those colors. So Derwent metallics, check. Then we have Winsor & Newton sketching pencils, and this has got a white charcoal in it. So that is what I was looking for this. This has got your regular charcoal pencils in it, and it's got a sepia pencil in it. It's got a couple of regular graphite pencils, but the white charcoal is what we were going for. So let's see. This is Winsor & Newton. You can definitely tell it is a charcoal pencil and not a lead pencil. See if the sepia shows up. Sepia shows up as well. Alright, so this one does not because it is a black. But the sepia and the white charcoal show up. Alright, moving on. We have got Faber-Castell Pit Artist Metallics. I have already tested the silver and the gold, but this pack also had a blue and a pink in it, so why not? Let's try those. These are the same 1.5s. So we're going to put those up, and we're going to add the blue. Oh, gorgeous. And the pink over here. This is a chalk pencil set of 4 crayons by Generals. These are multi-pastels. So these are pastel pencils. And they looked as if they would show up on dark paper given this because they're chalk pencils. Alright, these show up and they are erasable because the chalk is going to sit on the surface. So they're probably also going to transfer if you don't spray some sort of fixative on your page. So just keep that in mind as well. But chalk pencils show up. Yes. We have got Pentel now. Pentel Sunburst Metallics. Both work great. So let's try Pentel's Sparkle Pop and Milky Pops as well. Alright, Sparkle Pops are a yes, and that black comes out as a red, so just note that doesn't necessarily mean it's the color that you're going to get. If I'm not mistaken, the Sparkle Pops look one shade on black paper and another shade on white paper. So yes, the purple shows up blue on black. The silver shows up lighter. The gold shows up darker. The orange and pink show up lighter. The green turns sort of an aqua blue color. The blue turns green. And the black turns red. So here is your little thing that shows you what colors show up on what, which I'm going to cut out and save. And Milky Pops. Alright, Milky Pops definitely show up. Not my favorite pen to write with. The ink seems like it doesn't come out very smoothly or evenly, but shows up on black paper. I would just make a note of that. Alright, next up we have got Kelly Creates the Metallic Jewel Brush Pen Set. Kelly Creates, check. I forgot how thick the brush nib is on this. It takes some getting used to, but they show up gorgeously on the paper. And oops, no bleed through. Awesome. They are really, really inky pens, so do be careful with them. Next, I have this pack from Uniball, and I got it mostly because of the metallics here, and I will show you what a regular gel pen does on top of this. Alright, here we have a non-metallic regular gel pen. So let's see what it does on this paper. I'm expecting the ink to sink right into the black, not sit on top. And that is basically what it does. So if you want to know what a regular gel pen is going to do on top of the black paper, there is your answer. And just for fun, let's find a lighter color and do the same thing. So here is a peachy tone, exactly the same thing. So regular gel pens, not going to work. Okay, now we have this Kaiser Color Metallic set. I love these on white paper, so let's see how they show up on this. Alright, so the metallics are a big yes. Alright, let's check the neons and see if they'll write. Okay, neons, not so neon. They don't really show up well at all. They almost look like colored pencil once they're dry. So especially the blues and the purples really don't show up at all. The greens and the oranges tried to. And Kaiser has one more set, and that has, well, two more sets. The pastels and the glitters, I don't expect either to show up, but let's try them. Okay, there are the pastels, and I am pleasantly surprised that they all showed up. This one took a little while to get going, but it did in fact show up. Now let's see what the glitters do. Alright, so the glitters do exactly what you would expect them to do, and that's the ink pretty much sinks down into the page, but it leaves a little sparkle behind, so not anything too evident, but these would look great as little accents to whatever you were doing. So that is awesome. All four of those really kind of work. These again look like pencil when you're done with them, but they do actually show up, so they're in the yes pile. Alright, I think that is pretty much going to do it for pens and pencils for now, but we can't do this test without testing some watercolors. So these are Master's Touch. I picked these up from Michael's, or no, I picked these up from Hobby Lobby, and they are metallic. So I've also got the Gonzai Tambi, or whatever you want to call it, set as well, which is probably a higher quality set. But let's give these a shot. I was especially attracted to this set because of the two colors on the left here. So I'm going to grab a paintbrush and we're going to see how metallic watercolor shows up on this paper. Okay, so there is a test. The first ones up here are the palette that I mentioned, and then I tried some out of the palette from my shop. So we have got some Deep Sea Mist, Orchid, Unicorn, I believe that's Green Apple. We have got Siren, Shiny Poo, the bronze, Violet Daydreams, and Dark Soul, which is the black shimmer. And those all show up great. So let's see how, because the page is buckling here, but that was quite a bit of water. Let's see what it does on the other side and how well it held up. Alright, so the page is buckled a little bit, and I think once it is dry, it will be pretty much unnoticeable. But there you go. At least on the black paper, you can see how much of the buckling there is. But again, there's no bleed through of any type. This feels a little damp, but that was a lot of water at once. And once it is dry, because it's still not, once it is dry, it should be fine. So watercolor, yes. Now, this is not watercolor paper, so same as with any other notebook and journal, bullet journal, whatever you want to use, just use water in moderation in these, but it can hold up to the water. All right, so that is going to wrap up our massive pen test for this Archer and Olive Blackout book. I am really pleasantly surprised with the amount of things that will show up on this paper. So lots of things that we can choose from to create gorgeous spreads and pieces of art inside of this Blackout book. I'm really excited to get started. We will actually create something in the next video. This one was strictly for the pen test and to figure out what would write on black paper. I hope you enjoyed the video. I want to thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that little notification bell so you're informed each and every time I upload new content. And until next time, bye everyone. Bye to Daryl and bye to Brianna, my little friends. Bye-bye.